Hello, fourth and fifth graders. Miss Waters back with our Identity Doodle. Now, interesting story. I just filmed this whole thing and then it didn't work. So that's why you're seeing some color here already, because I just did it in the last video that didn't work. Anywho, I need to tell you a couple of things leading up to this. So some of you handed in what you think is a finished product, perhaps, for last week. However, I just want to kind of clue you in. When I'm doing these videos, kind of the point that I get to, or I tell you to get to, is kind of where I want you to get to, because there's something coming the next week. It might have to do with color, or it might have to do with something else, and that's what we're going to be talking about. I have since last time finished out my doodle, and by finish out, I mean I have addressed the space from edge to edge of my paper. If you have turned something in and you have not done that, I need for you to do that, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is, and this is what was coming this week with color, and some of you added color, but here's the thing. I want you to do something kind of specific, but you're able to use whatever colors you want. Now, I was talking about in the video that did not work, how we can use color to create emphasis, okay? Emphasis means you want something to stand out in some way. And when an art viewer looks at an artwork, sometimes artists take the time to create areas of emphasis, and that is what your eye is going to go to immediately. In my case, I wanted to emphasize my identity, and in this case my identity is my name. Now some of you chose to put objects and things within your background, and that's fine because that was your choice. I just did basic line and shape doodle, okay? So I want my name to stand out. I first outlined it in black, and then as far as colors go, I'm not requiring a specific color scheme such as primary colors, secondary colors, let's see, what else? I'm trying to think. I'm blank because we did all these last year. Warm and cool colors, and all of those groups of colors that we have learned about, analogous colors, complementary colors. Okay, but if you want to focus on one of them, and you might have to look it up and remind yourself what it is, warm and cool colors are easy. We've been learning about those for so long. So my thought was that I would choose to emphasize using warm and cool colors. I chose a warm color, and supplies say you can use crayons or markers, but if you want to use colored pencils, if you want to paint, this is up to you, okay? As long as you're showing that emphasis that I want you to try to show, okay? So I chose to use a warm color on my name, and I'm looking now, and I was in such a hurry the last time around, I missed that little spot there. So I did my name in a warm color, okay? Warm colors, reminder being those reds, yellows, and oranges, okay? Depending on what you're using, you might only have three, right? You might only have those three main colors, and that's okay. Or you might have some variety. With crayons, colored pencils, definitely, perhaps. Now, how I'm going to show that as an emphasis is that's the only warm colors I'm going to use. Now, did Miss Waters say you have to use warm and cool colors? No, she did not. It's an idea. If you're having a hard time thinking about how you want to create the emphasis. So my entire background then is going to be with cool colors. And I want to think about not using only one and coloring over everything. I didn't spend all this time doodling to do that. Okay, I'm looking for the shapes and the spaces that I've created. Last week I mentioned positive and negative space. Right now, it's going to depend. You as the artist in this particular artwork are going to choose whether or not you want your name to be the positive space, or your negative space now becomes the positive space because it's of interest now. So we're really not sure. You might only know inside your head. So I started out my cool colors, okay? It was just kind of creating a pattern. I might decide later to come back in and find those lines again with my black Sharpie haven't gotten that far yet. I thought I'd do the color first and then I go from there, okay? So I'm going to think about trying not to put the same colors next to each other so that I can actually see what I've created. It doesn't make sense to spend time on all of these designs if all I'm going to do is scribble over them and not have any care. Now, maybe I just want to spread that color out some, so I might come over here. Now, in a case like this right here, where it's really just a line, and with the exception of that little center area, there's not a shape. Now, in that case, I might color in that whole space, but then use that black Sharpie to find the line again, or do the Sharpie first and then use my cool color for the rest of that space. Shouldn't be seeing a lot of white unless white is playing into how you're emphasizing. Maybe you're just going to leave your name white and the color is going to come back here, and in which case you could use any colors you wanted. There's lots of ways to create that emphasis with color, but you have to think ahead. You have to think about how you want to do that. I've made my decision. What's your decision going to be? Can't wait to see.